Chapter 6187. Manager Chen looked expectantly at the HR manager who walked in again, thinking that things would turn around. But what he didn't expect was that the first thing the HR manager said when he sat down was, "I'm sorry, Mr. Chen. Now the group has determined that you not only made major mistakes at work, but also have big problems with personal ethics and business ethics. According to the group's intention, the labor contract must be terminated immediately." Manager Chen did not expect that by telling the hidden truth, he not only failed to solve the problem of gross negligence, but also added another issue of professional ethics. He could only bite the bullet and said to the HR manager, "Manager, what did Director Song say? She and Mr. Orville are familiar with each other after all. In this matter, I also considered that we are all acquaintances. No need to say anything, Mr. Chen." The HR manager said coldly, "This matter has been finalized. There is no room for negotiation. I have brought the notice of termination of employment. You don't need to sign it. Our legal affairs department is here to bear witness. As long as by handing this thing to you, we have fulfilled our duty of notification. And we ask you to hand over the work as soon as possible." Manager Chen was desperate and begged with a sad face, "Manager, please see that I have worked so hard for the antique shop for so many years. For the sake of it, even if you don't give me a chance to change my ways, you should at least give me N+1 compensation, right? You can't let me work for the grassroots for so many years, and then let me be kicked out without any money, right?" The HR manager said calmly, "Sorry, there is no compensation for being fired due to gross negligence. I have just told you about this issue. If you don't believe what I said, you can also go to arbitration or sue. The process is also very simple. You can find a law firm to help with the prosecution process. Our group legal department will actively respond to the lawsuit." Manager Chen knows very well that if he fights 10,000 lawsuits in this situation, he will definitely not win a single lawsuit. Not only is his time wasted, but he also has to pay high legal fees, which is not worth the loss. Seeing the HR manager's decisive attitude, he felt very unhappy. So he could only grit his teeth and said, "Since the group and Director Song don't recognize the relationship between Mr. Orville and the favor I did for the group, then it's okay. Don't blame me for publicizing this matter. That Irvin Zhong caused me to lose my job, and I will definitely discredit him." The HR manager didn't take his threat seriously at all and said calmly, "This is your decision, the group will not interfere in any way." "Okay." Manager Chen gritted his teeth and said, "Then I'll let Irvin know about it." The HR manager nodded and said, "Okay, Mr. Chen. If you have nothing else, please help me call in the remaining employees. The group is going to temporarily terminate the operation of the antique shop and terminate the labor contract with them." "What?" Manager Chen's eyes widened. "Everyone needs to be fired. Isn't this too harsh?" The HR manager smiled and said, "It has nothing to do with ruthlessness. It's just a group decision. This is the case with many companies' business adjustments. This has nothing to do with the treatment of early-stage cancer. The logic is the same. When cancer cells are found to form lesions, they should be removed as soon as possible to prevent them from metastasizing to other organs. As long as they are removed in time, recovery can be achieved." Manager Chen did not expect that the other party would describe himself as a cancer cell. And he was very angry, thinking that since he had lost his job anyway, he might as well have a meal to relieve his anger. But when he thought about it again, he realized that the other party was the HR manager of the Song Group, and he was accompanied by the group's legal affairs. If he touched him, the other party would definitely send him in. Thinking of this, he could only grit his teeth and endure it. Thinking to himself, he would be there soon. Post on moments to expose that evil, Irvin. What he didn't know was that at that moment, Irvin came to the door of Peter's shop. At this time, the shop was bustling with people, and there was an endless stream of people coming to pay homage to the doc and seek appraisals. Irvin hesitated at the door for a moment but finally made up his mind and walked in. Since many people knew Irvin and knew that he was no longer what he used to be. The moment he entered the store, many people around him subconsciously called him Brother Irvin. And each one was more respectful than the other. Irvin felt a little ashamed. At this moment, he realized that he was really sorry for the status given to him by Master Wade and Orville for doing such a dirty deed. When he saw Peter, he felt very ashamed and stepped forward. When Peter saw him coming, he thought he had sent someone to ask for something to no avail. So he came in person. So he asked him warily, "Irvin, what are you doing here?" Irvin suddenly knelt down on one knee with a look on his face. He said with shame, "Manager Jew, Boss Jew, I am sorry." Peter couldn't help frowning, thinking that Irvin was up to some new tricks. So he asked, pretending to be confused, "The two of us are just acquaintances and have never shared any interests. I really can't think of anything you could do wrong with me." The people around him were also dumbfounded. Although Irvin's current social status is not very high. But compared to most of the old acquaintances who hang out in the antique street, he is still much better. Why did he suddenly come to kneel down and apologize to Peter? Some people who are more curious and gossipy have begun to take out their mobile phones and secretly shoot videos. At this moment, Irvin took a deep breath and said with embarrassment, "Boss Jew, the bronze Buddha you received earlier was made for you by me secretly together with Vice President Wilson of the Calligraphy and Painting Association and Manager Chen from the antique shop. We bought that thing from Mr. Cheng, who is very famous in the industry, for 98,000. Mr. Cheng didn't know that it was from the Northern Song dynasty. And we were blind and didn't notice it. We wanted to trick you and make you unable to survive in the antique street with this hit. I didn't expect that it turned out to be such a self-defeating situation. Please don't remember the faults of villains and don't treat me like a rotten person." As he spoke, he took out a piece of paper full of words from his pocket, handed it to Peter, and said respectfully, "This is an apology letter written by me. Please accept it. At the same time, I will send this letter to my circle of friends. I apologize to you publicly." The people watching were stunned. No one thought that behind Peter picking up the big leak, there was such an incredible secret behind the scenes. Peter was also confused by Irvin's attempt to plead guilty.